to the best morning show on the globe. It's Bradley and Emery in the morning, y'all. LeBron or Jordan, either one when I'm performing. Crossover, buzzer beater and I'm scoring. Bradham and Emery in the morning. Every play they on it. Every day I'm balling. Who's the coach? Who's the GOAT? Like Brady and Belichick, best show on the globe. And they embellish it. Y'all pin Ziffy. I'm Ken Griffey or maybe Mahomes. I stay in the zone, whether man to man or play in the zone. They can't stop me. Mayweather boxing. Curry with the shot, man. We just the best to be. Can we have our SB, please? This was meant to be. Every morning with Bradham and Emery.
Yes, sir. You know the vibes. Bradman in the morning. Marques, Bradman, Justin, Emery.
Yo. What's going on, Mr. Marcus B. tweeting over there?
I'm annoyed.
Oh, okay.
I'm very, very annoyed.
Does it have to do with what occurred?
Fargo Center.
I was gonna say, does it have to occur with what? Does it have to do with what occurred last night?
I'm annoyed from when I watched from 7:30 to 9:30 last night. So let's set the scene.
Okay.
Wells Fargo Center, 7 p.m. The best team in the NBA comes in your building.
Yep.
Well, I'm not going to say the undisputed. You can have a dispute whether you say the Warriors or the Suns. I mean, I'm not going to push back either way because both have earned that right to be the best teams in the NBA.
Yep.
Suns come in here when the best team in the NBA, best team in the league comes in your building. There should be a certain energy around you that listen, not in our house. That's the mentality. And besides that, the Sixers are a good basketball team. They're only a game and a half, 2 games out of first place. They are in a position to make some noise in the East. This is a statement game.
Yep.
First half, you keep it close. It's within 3-4 points at halftime.
Well, no, they had the lead at half.
Yeah. Right. They're up 9:55 at halftime. 3 or 4 points at halftime. They're playing well, playing good ball. They didn't shoot the ball well all night, most except Embiid and Harris, but rough night for the role guys. They got off to a really bad start. They didn't score for like the first 4 minutes of the game, but it never got away from them. Again, they're playing pretty well. Come out of the third quarter, have a great first half of the third quarter, and it's so funny because I just felt this was going to happen. So I actually made a note. The Sixers were by 14 with 6:49 to go in the third quarter. Okay. Suns call timeout. I made that note because I had a feeling this was going to be the turning point. I shouldn't feel that way, but we've all seen this movie before. We know how this goes. Sixers get a big lead, and all of a sudden it just dwindles. You watch it just dwindle away, a slow bleed, death of 1,000 paper cuts. Now, they come out of the timeout. The Suns immediately go on an 8-3 run. Okay? 8-3. All right? So 8-3, you're still up by 9 at that point. That's when the timeout should have happened. The Sixers had about 5 to 6 possessions where the possession went down to the last 5 seconds of shot clock. They were struggling to get a basket. They were struggling to score. The offense was in disarray. They weren't getting good shots. And they were looking for Embiid and Maxey to bail them out in the clock, and it wasn't happening. That's when you call the timeout. And, this once again, and it's funny because we just had this conversation on Wednesday about Doc Rivers, the uncomfortable conversation, and this is the stuff that I'm talking about with him that drives me crazy. I don't understand a coach that does not understand the momentum of a game and understand shifts of momentum, tempo. I don't get that out of him. I don't understand. Like, listen, if you're playing the Detroit Pistons, you're playing the Oklahoma City Thunder, that's a teachable moment where your guys can learn to play through things. All right, listen, they went on a run. Let's try to work through this. Let's try to play through this. You don't play through things when you're playing the best team in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the deal with Phoenix. Phoenix is coming off of a back-to-back. They played Chicago on Monday night. They win the game. It was closer than it looks. They won by 3, but they were in control pretty much the entire game. The point is they're in Chicago. They had to fly from Chicago to Philly. They probably got to Philly late Monday night, early Tuesday morning. They've been on the East Coast for over a week now. This was also the last game of their road trip. They're going back to Phoenix on Thursday to play the Bucks. They when they got down 14, they were moments away from checking out. All you need to do out of that timeout was just maintain that distance for just a little bit longer, and they would have checked out. You allowed them back in. I'm sorry, your coach allowed them back in by not keeping the momentum. When it gets to 9, timeout. You call a timeout right then and there. What does Doc Rivers do? No. Does he call it at 9? No. He waits till it gets to 4. So now if you call a timeout at 4, 75-71. Of course, now they're like, okay, let's get this. Let's get this game. You got Chris Paul over there, ultimate killer. D-Book. Mikal Bridges back in his hometown, still salty about being traded on draft night.
Had a ton of family in the building.
Yeah, still salty about the trade on draft night. They want to show out at this point. Let's do it. Let's get this game now. Let's do this.
Mikal Bridges averages 7 points above his career average against the Sixers.
Yeah. We talked about this on Monday. It pains me every time I see that kid play.
Right. And he obviously holds it against the organization.
Yeah, how good would he look here? He would have fit perfectly here. And you don't get Zaire Smith. You get basically nothing for him. Anyway,
that man almost died from a peanut.
Yeah. Remember that story. So it's now 4, and now you know what's going to happen because it's a really good basketball team, and now you let them back in, and Chris Paul led teams. He's a Hall of Famer, and guys like that, you don't want them to hang around. You don't want to be close going to the fourth quarter. You don't want to be close going down to the final couple minutes because all of these guys now you have 2 guys in Chris Paul and Devin Booker who are going to get the calls. They're going to get the calls. And what happened? They got the calls down the stretch.
And I'll be honest with you. They should have even gotten more. There was calls that they left on the court for those guys. Specifically, I believe it was with about 8 and change left in the fourth. Booker goes up, hits a shot right around the foul line. Clear as day on his back. Should have been an and 1. Didn't call it. Earlier in the game, same thing with Chris Paul. There was other calls that Booker and Paul should have gotten that they didn't.
Right. It's people might be like, why are you so upset of a game in February? I'll tell you why I'm upset of a game in February because I'm not looking just at this. I'm looking ahead to what this projects to in a playoff series because you're going to be in positions in a playoff series being a good team to step on a team's throat, and you got to be able to do that. Yep. You have to be able to close the door on a team. This should have been a win. This had win written all over it just based on the circumstances of the Phoenix Suns coming into this game. You should have beaten this team in your building. You were home yesterday. You got a good night's sleep in your own bed. They didn't. They're ready to go home. They've been over here for a week. Especially with a team that's a West Coast team coming east or an East Coast team going west, that last game is always really tough to get. And that was a game that Phoenix was ready to concede to you, and you didn't take advantage of it. And this is just typical Doc Rivers stuff. This is just par for the course. And, again, ask a question again. It's not a point where we can be like, we're going to fire this guy. It's not there. But we have every right to be concerned. Every right. And, his rotation, I don't like his rotations. You got Embiid, Maxey on the bench for 15, 20 minutes.
I texted that last night.
Yeah.
I said, I haven't seen Embiid in 15 minutes.
No. And this all bench lineup, you cannot run that out there against the best team in the NBA. You just can't do that. This team is not good enough to just run your bench for 15, 20 minutes at a time. They're just not. And you got I know they're missing Milton right now. So that's why you got Korkmaz kind of running the point. But he's giving you nothing at this point. Really next to nothing. It's just, it's the old adage with him and Redick. If they're not hitting threes, they are basically useless to you. And I know Korkmaz has improved his ball handling. That's all well and good, but He's not a scorer. He's a
He's
shooter.
skidding. He's skidding right now, and if he's not good for 4 from 7 from beyond the arc, you can't use him.
Useless. Absolutely useless. So, and then you have, Seth Curry was real. He didn't score until like a minute or two to go in the fourth quarter. He was really bad last night.
He was not good yesterday.
Really, really bad. Like I've never seen him shoot as bad as he did last night.
After watching that game, I said, yeah, if Brooklyn wants him, they can have him. Like
he was awful last night. Dude, you get
the whole team was bad, but like watching it wasn't like he was taking bad shots.
No, that's the problem. Is they were all good open looks that usually he knocks down, and he just didn't knock them down. You get 30 plus from Embiid, you get 30 from Harris. You got to win that game. You got to win that game. Like that I don't. It was just maddening watching after that moment, the 6:49 mark in the third quarter for the rest of that game. It was tough. It is crazy to think that you can have a team up 14 and still know they may not win this game.
Well, 2 things in the fourth quarter that came back to haunt them that both were Embiid's fault.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1 was that offensive foul. I know people were complaining about that was an offensive foul.
Yeah.
And then obviously the final steal of Chris Paul, bad pass to Seth Curry out of bounds. That's not Seth's fault. That was a bad pass.
Oh, it was awful. And he takes a really bad 3. And that's before but here's the deal. That's what I've kind of been talking about of why you need a guy like Harden at the end of games, because it's putting too much pressure on Embiid to create. Embiid has
to pass that ball.
He made a play last night that was ridiculous, where he drove the entire length of the court, Euro step, and dunked the ball on everybody. That was absurd. And that's great that he can do that at 7-2. However,
I believe that was his last bucket of the game.
When you get to nut cutting time at the end of games, I don't want my 7-2 center creating for my teammates. That doesn't make sense. You can't play basketball like that. You need a guard to create and then create off of that. Listen, Embiid's been really good this year in clutch situations. A couple weeks ago, he was leading he might still be right now, but a couple weeks ago, he's leading the NBA in clutch points. So yeah, he's been good in those moments. However, when you get against the really good teams and again, it's not going to work that way. You just can't have your 7-2 center creating. You need a guard. You have to have a guard to do that. That's where James Harden comes in. That's why you need a guy like that. You saw that in the last couple minutes of the game. You got to have, because the thing about Harden, again, what I say is he's an underrated passer. He can score, but he can also set guys up like Embiid.
And the other players were playing so bad, he had no faith to pass that ball to anybody last night.
Right.
Outside of Tobias, because Tobias gave you 30.
Right.
He was extremely efficient, but even down the stretch, he was making some plays that you're like, you scored 30 points this game. Why are you doing that now down the stretch?
Right. Tobias had a really good first half. He had 17 the first half.
Yeah.
Not a great second half. Okay. But he wasn't great in the second half. But also too, you think
at one point in time, I think he was shooting 13 for 15.
Yeah. But you think about it, you sit these guys down for 15, 20 minutes at a time. Yeah, you're gonna be a little stiff when you come back in. You gotta get back into the mode, and sometimes you can lose it. A game like that, I just feel you gotta let you guys just go. You gotta let them go. But I promised you guys on Monday, and we deliver. We have a special guest on the line with us right now to talk some Sixers basketball. SportsIllustrated.com beat writer for the Philadelphia 76ers, Justin Grasso joins us. Justin.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
A little annoyed this morning over last night's game. For me, it's getting frustrating watching this team blow leads. I made a note. 14. They're up 14, 6:49 to go with a team on a back-to-back. You feel like you need to close that out. Is there ever? You're down there every day covering a team. Is there ever any questions about the rotations of Doc Rivers? I know you got some injuries you're dealing with, but are there any other questions about his rotation play?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think everyone found out kind of recently there's kind of this line where you can't really cross with Doc Rivers, and when you kind of question certain things like that. So I think there's a little more hesitance to ask those kind of questions. But I mean, you mentioned it. There's injuries, and that's used as kind of, I don't want to say an excuse, but I mean, you can call it that. And then there's also the idea that the Sixers need help. I mean, the trade deadline's coming up, and they haven't been shy in expressing that there needs to be some sort of roster change too to kind of help out guys like Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris, who's playing some pretty good basketball lately.
So you mentioned the trade deadline, which is tomorrow. I mean, everyone's kind of on Harden watch right now, but is there anything else the team could do if, barring James Harden, which would obviously the white whale, and that would obviously improve drastically? But is there anything else that you're seeing out there that you could see them making a move, maybe a more quiet move, something to help? Because for me, even though I do want Harden, I look at that more of an offseason move. I feel like when you do get one of those big superstars, it takes time. It's not a guaranteed recipe to a finals experience, and a lot of times it doesn't work out the following year. So I'm okay with them maybe waiting the summer, but usually when you do make those runs, it's that little piece, that underrated piece that no one else is thinking about. So what do you see a way they can improve this team in that manner?
Yeah, it's funny. I was actually just talking about it last night. I think it's kind of strange how obviously, everyone's talking about the big trade chip, which is Ben Simmons and then James Harden. But there really hasn't been any kind of under the radar moves being talked about. Like last year, obviously Kyle Lowry was the big trade piece, but you also heard, the rumblings about guys like George Hill and all that. And then obviously the Sixers went out and got George Hill. This year, that's not really there. So obviously backup guard is important. I almost fear for the Sixers that they have such tunnel vision for James Harden that they're kind of thinking, well, eventually we'll get Shake Milton back. And it almost feels like maybe they just think that that's the guy that they think that they're going to get back that's going to help them. And I'm not really sure, how that's going to play out, because obviously we saw with last year, even though they got George Hill, that wasn't really working out. Shake Milton was on the team, and, there were times he was in and out of the rotation, especially when it came to the playoffs. So it almost feels like right now there's just tunnel vision for James Harden. And, that's unfortunate because they really do need a backup ball handler. But when you even look at that, some under the radar moves, it almost seems like they don't really have much to trade. It sounds like, they're kind of dangling Paul Reed and Isaiah Joe out there as young, promising talents, but I don't really know how much value they have. So I think the Sixers are kind of in a tough position right now.
So, I mean, if we get past tomorrow, 4 p.m., I believe is the deadline. If we get past tomorrow and there are no trades made for Ben Simmons, and that, I'm going to ask you your just opinion on this. Do you see a scenario? Everything that's happened, and Embiid literally did say the interview a couple days ago. Everything that's happened thus far with Ben Simmons. Do you think there's any possible way that he comes back and plays for this team if he is not dealt tomorrow?
Yeah. I mean, it's such a tough question because, like, I'm shocked that he held out this long, to be honest, which makes me feel like each day that passes, he was serious about how he is going to hold out for the whole season. But then there's also this light gut feeling there. I feel like he's just going to show up one day, like how he did in that. I believe it was like the second to last preseason game. He kind of showed up at the arena and no one expected it.
Yeah.
There's a tiny feeling that might happen. I can't guarantee that, but it seems like people around them are starting to kind of, offer the reality like, hey, maybe you should come back and kind of, rebrand your image a little bit, show teams. So for the off season that like, hey, you can still hoop and you got it. Cause obviously, the last image of Ben Simmons isn't, ideal for trade partners. And I have a slight feeling he might show up and play. But then there's also the issue of, I believe it was the Ramona Shelburne piece last week where he kind of wants the team to, come out and say like, hey, we want Ben back and we kind of need him. And obviously we saw last night, Joel, he just won't take that stance. Like it's just not something that he's going to do. So I feel like that might be the thing that kind of holds it back where he wants them to, they said they're a better team with him, but that's not enough for him. He wants them to, really need him back. And that's just not the stance that they're going to take.
So we look right now, the standings. Sixers are in the fifth. They're the fifth seed, 32-22. 2.5 out of first with the Heat leading right now. We can't predict the future. We really don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Is it going to be Harden? Is it not going to be Harden? Do they make a minor move? Do they not make a minor move? We have no idea. All we can really talk about is who's on the roster right now and what they have right now. We know Shake Milton's coming back, at some point, but that's pretty much the extent of what we know right now. What do you think is the ultimate ceiling for this team? I personally believe, all things considered, it wouldn't surprise me if they found their way in the Eastern Conference Finals. You, Justin Grasso, what is your ceiling for this team right now, presently constructed?
It's so tough because, first of all, the Eastern Conference is very tight. Like, one day you can be, like we saw with the Sixers, you could be second place. Next day you could be sixth place. Like, it's a pretty tight race. The only quote unquote good team I think the Sixers have a good chance against in the playoffs is really, obviously, Chicago is one of them because they've already had a lot of success against them, beat them 3 times already. And then obviously Cleveland, who can offer some, tough matchups. I think they're just a young team and they probably won't go as far. I wouldn't be shocked to see the Sixers struggle to get out of the second round again. I just think that, they're lacking that other star power. Obviously, Tobias has been playing great, but I've always made it clear that I think Tobias is the ideal third guy. And obviously, with his contract, that's not ideal for everybody else. But I think if you have a Ben Simmons or you have maybe a James Harden, Tobias can come up big for you. But I just think this team is just lacking too much right now. You can't rely on some of their bench guys. Like, who knows what Furkan Korkmaz is going to give you when the time comes. And, I just don't trust this team. I'm not as confident as you. I'll just put it that way.
So, last question for you. Harden was intentionally sat out last night. The Sixers and Nets are talking. We know that. What do you think? Gut feeling. Does this get done tomorrow?
I don't think so. I think that I don't know if it benefits Brooklyn unless I think the key thing here is James Harden straight up telling Brooklyn, like, hey, I'm not coming back. Like, I'm done with this. No matter what, I'm not coming back. Then Brooklyn I see the benefit in them saying, all right, let's just get our value for him now without losing him in the summer. But I think that Brooklyn just has it in their head where, is it worth the risk getting rid of James Harden now, bringing in Ben Simmons, who he's going to need weeks to ramp up action. One, you don't even really know where he's at, with his what he's dealing with. So you don't know how long it's going to take for him to be mentally prepared to return to the court. Then there's, he's going to ramp up action and get back into basketball shape. You don't know how long that's going to take, at a point. And then when he gets back, is Kevin Durant going to be healthy? Is Kyrie Irving going to be vaccinated and not a part-time player? So you might have to rely on Ben Simmons to, win you games and put you back, in a competitive spot. And we obviously saw that Ben Simmons comes up short in that department. So it's almost like unless James Harden makes it clear that you're not getting me back and you should get value from me now, I don't see the benefit on Brooklyn's side to trade him as early as tomorrow.
Well, I guess we'll all wait and see what happens tomorrow. trade deadline correction is at 3 p.m., not 4 p.m. So we'll hold our breath and see how that works out. But Justin, we appreciate you jumping on. Look forward to talking to you soon.
All right, man. Appreciate you for having me.
Justin Grasso, Sports Illustrated Pictures beat writer. Oh man, it was I love his answer to that first question when I asked about the rotation. And this is another problem that we're having with Doc Rivers is you can't ask him anything. I mean, it's a fair question to ask why you're keeping, your starters on the bench for 20 minutes at a time when your bench is struggling. Like you have got Furkan Korkmaz literally can't score right now to save his life. He's not scoring at all. We talk about Matisse. Matisse had more threes than Furkan last night. Matisse had 2 threes in the first quarter last night. So we're talking about his shooting. We're not talking about Korkmaz's shooting.
No.
So, I mean, he's literally not scoring for you at all. Andre Drummond is Andre Drummond. I still think he's been so valuable for them, but he can only give you what he can give you. George Niang I like George Niang also, but George Niang needs to be set up for the most part. And you need a guy to set the table for him. That's where that backup point guard comes in the thing, because they really have no one to run that second unit. Because even Shake Milton's a traditional point guard. Shake Milton's not a traditional facilitator.
No.
Korkmaz is just pretty much just filling in. So you don't really have anybody running that second unit right now. That's why another thing with the Harden move would be nice. I mean, well, if Seth Curry's still here, you put Seth Curry on the bench, then Seth Curry becomes your backup point guard because he can run a team. But it's just interesting he said that, because Doc had that answer. I forget what the question was a week or two ago. Maybe it was a little longer than that. But he had the answer. Someone asked him a question. He goes, "You wouldn't ask Pop that question."
Oh yeah, the question. I'm kind of paraphrasing it, but the question that he gave that answer to was, I think it was a 24-point blown lead for that game.
Okay.
They lost a 20-something point lead that they blew.
Yeah.
And the reporter, I think it was Austin Krell, asked him, you had a 20-something point lead in the second half and you lost it. What part does coaching play in that?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. You know why he snapped at that answer? Because he knows his reputation as blowing leads. He knows his reputation. No one ever questions, can Doc come in and coach up a team? That's never a question. The question is can he maintain it and not blow his load too quick and hold on to a lead? Can he close a team out?
Right.
Can he close a series out?
And listen, let's just state the obvious, bro. You're not Pop. You're not. That's who you're not. You're not Pop. Okay. You're not Greg Popovich. Don't do that.
No.
Like you've been able to parlay a nice career as an NBA coach. Not gonna take that away from you. You're not Pop. It's really that simple. That's not who you are. Let's not do that. But yeah, that I thought that was a very interesting answer that he gave on that, because he's down there. He's down there every day in the press conference.
Every day.
He sees it. So I thought that was interesting, a non-provoked, interesting answer from him answering the question that way. But
I'm not surprised.
It is no, not at all. I'm not surprised at all. I mean, we've seen it from afar. It's interesting too about the idea of being so hard and focused and missing out on that secondary piece. That's why I brought up TJ McConnell the other day. He would be perfect for this squad right now, because you need someone to run the second unit, someone to set these guys up. He would be a perfect addition to this. But if they're focused and putting all the eggs in the Harden thing and not focusing on that, you better land them. But you gave me a windy report.
I did.
What are you talking about?
So it's probably about 10 to 15 minutes ago he said this. The Nets and the Sixers are actively engaged in dialogue in regards to James Harden.
Mm-hmm.
But the Nets have apparently increased the asking price. And they want Simmons plus 2 to 3 pieces.
They're out of their mind. No. The answer is no. The answer is no, because I don't understand what they don't understand. Like you're gonna lose this guy in the offseason And listen, it's probably because of the money. It's probably going to be a sign and trade. However, it's going to be a sign and trade straight up. You're not going to have this. You're not going to get anything. You're lucky to get out of here with Ben, Danny Green, or Ben Seth Curry. Take that and go away.
Apparently it's now Maxey, Seth, Ben, and a draft pick.
No. Absolutely not. It's not worth. To me, it's not worth it. I'm not doing that. That's a no deal.
I mean, that depletes too much else out of your roster.
This is Wednesday talk. Okay, this is Wednesday talk.
Thursday's different.
Things will definitely get different as you get closer on Thursday. So, listen, Daryl Morey's been patient this far. I can't imagine he's in panic mode now.
No.
So I would feel he's going to drag this thing out till 3 p.m. tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. But hopefully, here's the deal. I make a deadline of like 12 p.m. for the Nets tomorrow, so I can then focus, because you got to improve this team in some capacity tomorrow. You got to do something. Something needs to be done. It doesn't have to be Harden, but it has to be something. Something needs to be.
Sabonis got moved. Halliburton got moved. LeVert got moved.
Bad trade, by the way.
Yes. But the thing is that the other pieces that you have discussed potential trades for, you're running out of options. McCollum got traded,
got moved.
You're running out. Like, we had, Beal, season-ending injury.
Mm-hmm.
Dame, potentially not coming back this year.
Yep.
Your other pieces that you were going to potentially go for, your options are becoming more and more and more limited the longer you wait. This just goes back to what Justin just said with the tunnel vision.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a very good point.
And
there are like I said, honestly, you ask me, honestly, I would rather have that piece, that smaller piece, than Harden right now, because I think, like I said, these huge moves at the deadline rarely ever work. They just don't. It's too much time. It's too little time to gel, and it's hard to figure that out in a matter. Because think about it, you get Harden now. The All-Star break is next week.
Yes. So
you're really pretty much after the All-Star break. Now you have to integrate this guy in pretty much 6 weeks, because the playoffs start in April.
Yep.
So you got about 6 weeks to figure things out. That's not enough time. It's just not enough time. So, yeah, for this year, I think the smaller piece helps. I mean, the Ben Simmons stuff, I mean, I could totally see him just showing up one day.
Yes. He's a weirdo.
Because he didn't really have to say, hey, guys, I'm reporting. Hey,
he can show up.
He can legit just show up, because he's been at, apparently, the film sessions, some workouts, and I'm sure he's not just saying, hey, I'm going to be there today. He's just going to show up.
Yeah, he'll just pop in, and it'll just, like Justin said, it'll just be like the preseason game where he just showed up.
Right. And, he's waiting.
What would be interesting, though, is if he shows up wanting to play, and the Sixers make him do a press conference before that.
Well, he's going to have to. He can't, he'll get fined if he doesn't. He's going to have to talk to the media as part of coming back, which is going to be insane.
Well, that's what he was supposed to do back in October, if you recall, before.
That's why he got himself kicked out of practice. The deal is, if it goes past tomorrow, I don't think he has it in him to sit out the rest of the season. I just don't.
And he definitely doesn't have it in him to sit out another season.
Right. But I don't feel that. I think he, I feel like he never thought it was going to get this far. And now, what's one more day? Let's see if I get moved. If he doesn't get moved, I don't see how he doesn't come back.
I mean, or he gets moved in the offseason, obviously. Like, he will be playing next year, whether it's for the Sixers or it's for the a different team. Because Morey won't allow him to sit out a second year.
Yeah, and I also feel that, I'm hearing a lot of talk. I was watching First Take the other day, Stephen A. talking about he doesn't see anyone beating Simmons, Irving, and Durant. Really? you're going to put your eggs in the basket of Ben Simmons being a productive playoff guy?
No.
That's what you're going to do? When the going gets tough, you think Ben will be there to back up those guys? Like, you're still going to need, it's the same problems here you're going to have there. You're still going to eventually need him to do things other than guard.
What about home games when you have no Irving,
right?
And Ben's not going to shoot,
right?
It's gonna be a mess.
Make free throws,
and then wait until Kevin Durant loses his mind at Ben over something at practice, and then Ben pouts and doesn't want to play for Brooklyn anymore.
Right.
Like, oh, I don't want to deal with the scrutiny in Philadelphia. Let me go to Brooklyn.
Let's go. Yeah, let's go to New York. All right.
Does that make sense? So, but yesterday during the game, it was announced that the NBA 75th anniversary team that they've been doing, the 15 coaches in NBA history was announced during the game yesterday, with 4 current coaches on the team.
Okay.
Or on the list. Or I should say on the list.
Okay.
So I'll give you the list rundown, and this was the order of which they were selected.
Okay.
So I guess you could technically say this list is in order. Okay. Red Auerbach.
Obviously.
Chuck Daly.
Yes.
Phil Jackson.
Yes.
Pat Riley.
Wait, are you on 1 to 15?
Yes.
Or are you on 15 to 1?
No, 1 to 15.
Okay.
So Red.
So Phil's 4.
3. Phil's 3.
Phil's 3.
Pat Riley 4.
Okay.
Lenny Wilkins 5.
Mm-hmm.
Larry Brown 6.
Okay.
Red Holzman 7. Casey Jones 8.
Okay.
Don Nelson 9.
Okay.
Jack Ramsey 10.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Kerr 11. Greg Popovich 12.
Wait a minute. Really?
Yep.
I mean, I guess the rings and the record. I guess. Okay. Who's 12?
Pop.
They put Pop behind Kerr.
Yep.
Okay, so this is strictly a resume thing. Then we're not talking about actual coaching.
I suppose. Like I said, this is just what
Kerr ahead of Popovich.
No,
that's strictly from a resume perspective.
Not yet. No.
Even though Pop has
5.
Yeah,
got 5 rings,
and Kerr has 3.
3. Yep.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I think some of it could be projection as well, because what Pop's in his 70s, Steve Kerr's in his 50s, so some of that could be projection as well. That they're saying in his career.
But you know what though? I want to see Steve Kerr build a program. I'm going to need to see him build a program because I'll use Pat Riley for example. Pat Riley won with 2 completely different styles. He had the Showtime Lakers. He had the 90s Knicks. Larry Brown took his system everywhere. Successful in Indiana.
And don't forget, Pat Riley also has the Heat.
Right. Successful in Indiana. Successful in Philly. Successful in Detroit. I don't like Phil Jackson. Yeah, he had Jordan, Pippen, all that, but he taught them how to win. He taught Shaq and Kobe how to win. Neither one of those teams had won before Phil Jackson got there. Steve Kerr inherited a team ready to go right then. They won a championship the first year. Like I believe if Mark Jackson wasn't let go, they would have done that. Like it's unfair because he ran up against those really good Spurs teams. And, I'm going to need to see Steve Kerr build a program. I need to see him build a program. I guess do you give him credit for the development of like a Jordan Poole, the resurgence of Andrew Wiggins? Yeah, I guess maybe I'm trying to talk myself through this right now. Maybe I'm really wrong on that because maybe you can say you can make an argument that he's rebuilt.
He's been there almost a decade by now.
Yeah, and you can say that he's had a hand in kind of reshuffling and rebuilding.
And if anything, has he built it? No, but he's definitely helped them maintain it.
Yeah, because then, like I said, you got Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, Gary Payton Jr., You got a bunch of guys that he's actually developed. So yeah, okay, all right, okay.
13, Doc Rivers. 14, Jerry Sloan. And 15. Before I say it, I'll let you take a guess at it. Current coach. Who do you think is the 15th?
Current coach. It better be Eric Spoelstra.
It is.
Yeah, Spoelstra's an underrated. He doesn't get talked about enough. He really doesn't. When he first got the job with the big three, like people were like, "What? Come on!" But like, no, he's a good coach, and like he's done it over time, and even after the the Heatles that disbanded, he's still been relevant. And now again with a different squad, here he is again, #1 seed in the East. So he definitely deserves to be on that list. I like Eric Spoelstra a lot.
And that is the list in its entirety.
Not much pushback on that. I mean, I'm okay with it. I
don't know if
I don't know if Doc Rivers is a top 15 of all time, but I don't know who to replace him with.
See, so that was what I was thinking. Is I can't like as seeing him as the coach, and I personally knowing the blunders he's had for the last 2 years. It's hard for me to say Doc Rivers is a 15 top. 15.
Maybe a Rudy Tomjanovich. You think about replacing him with him?
I'll be honest, I don't know who that is. So
back-to-back Houston Rockets. He talked to the Rockets in the 90s. Went back-to-back.
So here's some little tidbits about the coaches on the list. Among those 15 coaches, they combined for 44 titles.
Okay.
Which is just under an average of 3 apiece. Now, there's 2 coaches that have no titles. Do you know who they are?
On the list?
Yes.
I'm going to need to... Jack Ramsey, I don't believe has a title.
No, he does.
He does?
He does.
Who did he win with? Oh, Portland. Who won Portland? Right?
I have no idea, but I know that he has a title.
Casey Jones, did he win a title with the Celtics? Yeah, I'm drawing a blank.
Sloan and Nelson.
Oh, right, Jerry Sloan. Right, because Jordan's in no titles for you.
2 coaches have titles with multiple organizations. Phil Jackson and Pat Riley.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9 of the 15 have multiple titles. Jackson 11, Auerbach 9, Popovich 5, Riley 5, Kerr 3, Jones, Spoelstra, Daly, and Holzman all have 2.
Yeah, not too much pushback on that list. It's a solid list.
If anything, I would probably just reshuffle the order.
Yes.
Versus keeping any name. I don't really have a problem, like I said, other than Doc, but I don't know who I'd replace him with.
I'll be honest, I take Spoelstra over all the coaches coaching today on that list.
Kerr, Pop, and Rivers.
No, well, I take him over. I'll take that back. I take him over Rivers and Kerr. I think it's Pop right now in the NBA. Right now, I think it's Pop, Spoelstra, and I guess you go Kerr and Rivers.
I think having Pop at 12 is not right.
It's a little low. I get the top 10 ever.
I think he should. I think he has a debate for top 5, maybe top 7, maybe top 7.
There's a debate for top 5.
Because I think that Chuck Daly, Phil Jackson, and Pat Riley, the 3 of them have cemented their names in 3 of the top 5. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Red Auerbach, you got to go with him just based off of everything that he did with the Celtics. Then Pop? Because right now they have number 5, Lenny Wilkins. Would you put Lenny Wilkins ahead of Pop?
No.
How about Larry Brown?
Very similar, but no. Because Pop got 5 of those things.
He's got 5 rings. And he's got the 5 rings over the span of 12, 13, 14 years.
Yeah. He did that in the Shaq and Kobe era.
Yes. Red Holzman above Pop?
I don't know enough about him, but I'm gonna say no because I don't know enough about him.
Don Nelson?
No, because he didn't win. Like Don Nelson was a really, really good coach, and had some really, really good teams. Some fun, especially some fun teams. He coached Run TMC, that Warriors team with Chris Mullin, Mitch Richmond, Tim Hardaway. He had some fun teams. He coached Young Dirk, I believe.
Yes.
However, I don't put him over Pop.
Actually, you know what?
Pop is just different, man. Pop is different. He's a different type of coach.
I have another guy who I may want to enter in the conversation for Doc Rivers.
Who's that?
George Karl.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna go Don Nelson, then George Karl has an argument, because he didn't win a title either, but he had some damn good teams. Those Seattle Supersonic teams. It's a crime they didn't win anything. But that's when things were just, the NBA was just different league. But those Kemp, Peyton, Detlef Schrempf, Seattle Supersonic teams were really, really good teams.
George Karl is one of only 9 coaches to have over 1,000 career wins.
And then he had that Milwaukee Bucks team that faced Sixers
in
the Eastern Conference Finals 2001. Yeah, if you're gonna go Don Nelson, George Karl has an argument to be on the list.
Mellow Nuggets.
Yep, Mellow Nuggets. See, I think the weakest name on that list is Doc Rivers.
I agree. They asked him about it after the game. He was like, "Oh, it's a great honor, but I don't want to talk about it in a loss."
Well, you shouldn't have lost, Doc. Call timeout. If you would have called timeout, you probably won that game. Call timeout down 9, not down 4.
Pretty much.
Because it's a deal. You do it again. You would have down 9. You probably come back. You keep pace. You go in the fourth quarter up 7, up 7 or 8. It's a good cushion.
Better than being down, right?
I don't know. All right, we're gonna take a break.
Pay some bills.
Yes. On the other side, we're gonna talk some more.
Yep.
In the morning. Marques and Justin. We're right back.
Looking for authentic Mexican food close to home? Great news. District Taco is just around the corner in Abington, Pennsylvania, and they'd love to fiesta with you. Offering delicious fish tacos, a California burrito stuffed with guac, steak, fries, and chipotle mayo, plus sweet, crispy churros. District Taco has it all. Try out the newest location and come back for more. Get 10% off your first in-app order with promo code BREMI10. Always fresh, always Mexican. District Taco.
Relationships can be tough, and finding that special someone can be even tougher. So when it's time to make a decision on what to do with the ring, you don't want to have that be tough too, right? Hi, I'm Marcus Brown. I'd like to talk to you guys, my friends at Vans Jewelers, located at 13 South York Road in the heart of Hatboro. Back in 2017, when I decided to get engaged, there was only one choice for me. Going into Vans Jewelers, I was quite nervous, but they put me at ease right away with their friendly staff and their easy selection. They have selections for any budget. Rings, watches, chains, earrings, you name it, they got it. They also offer free ultrasonic cleaning and stone checks on any ring. Vans Jewelers also provides cleanings while you wait every Tuesday through Friday. What else do you want? You can't beat it. Go see my friends at Vans Jewelers, located again at the heart of Hatboro, 13 South York Road.
Justin here. Let me tell you about my friends over at Beef Jerky Outlet. A family-owned business, Sharon and Michael have the best jerky around. They have a huge selection to choose from, but always make sure to try my personal favorite, the Honey Barbecue Turkey Jerky. Don't think they only have jerky for sale. They also have the best supply of sauces, marinades, and rubs for all of your new recipes. Located at 110 Lincoln Highway, right by Oxford Valley Mall. Head on over there, go in and say, "Yo, Justin sent me."
Every Friday, we're bringing you bits. But it's especially hilarious to me knowing what I've seen happen in McDonald's locations over the years. Hell, what I've done in McDonald's locations over the years. Hits.
Always winterize your pipes. I think that is such a funny...
And everything in between.
Nah,
See, it's the opposite. You don't see it, and he was totally about eating that baby. We are Twitty and the Brand. We're going to ruin something that you love. New episodes weekly on all your favorite podcast streamers.
Yeah, man. Welcome back. Brown in the morning. Marques Brown, Justin Emery.
Yo. Got a few facts for today. Nothing crazy. February 9th. Let's see. We'll start with 1992. Magic Johnson returns for the All-Star game.
Yeah, I remember that.
I don't. I was 3 years old, but it still happened.
I remember that 3 at the end. They stopped the game.
Did they?
Yeah, he hits a 3 with like 9 seconds to go. To go ahead, they decided to stop the game there. So it was wild times back in '92.
No, I can imagine. 1964 Beatles Ed Sullivan Show. Probably one of the most watched programs, one of the most watched episodes of a program, probably of all time.
Yeah, an iconic moment.
Yeah. 1942 Daylight Saving Times begin. I'm not a fan.
No, I hate it. Especially when it's January when it's dark at like 2 p.m.
Yeah.
I'm out.
I
It's
saw-
always fun when it comes back though, when you got the daylight again. But like that couple weeks where it's dark really early sucks.
I saw today was the first time this year so far that the sun rose before 7 a.m. It's happening. It's getting warm, Marcus.
Getting back.
I'm tired of being frozen.
Yeah.
And we got a couple of birthdays to hand out for today.
Okay.
Michael B. Jordan, not to be mistaken for Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Yes.
We also have Saquon Barkley. Shout out to Saquon Barkley. And
Will Saquon ever be right again?
what's that?
Will Saquon ever be right again?
I think it's the team around him, if I'm being honest with you. I don't think it's him. I think it's that the Giants have arguably the worst offensive line in football. They have Daniel Jones under center. They had Joe Judge as the coach for the last few years. I don't think it's Saquon. I think if you put Saquon on like the Chargers, you put Saquon on a team that has a functional offense, you're going to see a different player.
Someone needs to rescue Saquon.
Yes.
Send help for Saquon.
Now, I could be completely incorrect and just a little biased, but a player like that just doesn't fall off a cliff after 3 seasons.
Right.
Especially when I would not necessarily consider the Giants a stable foundation and a stable franchise right now.
No, not at all. Which is, it's we talk about this all the time. The cornerstone franchises. It's an embarrassment for the NFL. The Giants are a good football team.
Yeah.
For a very long time.
It's a shame that both. Well, I shouldn't say shame. Maybe that's not the right word, but it's definitely not good for the NFL that both New York teams suck.
Correct. It's been like that for a very long time.
Yes. And then last birthday to hand out, Charlie Day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, always sunny.
Yeah. I guess the conversation I want to have now, because I'm hearing there's a lot of chatter. Well, let's do this first, because some trades have already come out. I want to talk about one in particular.
Okay.
Right now to get the specifics.
Also, is Woj intimidated by Shams? Did you see that tweet that Woj put out?
I don't think Woj is worried about Shams.
Did you see
no, all respect to Shams, respectfully, Woj ain't worried about that man.
Did you see the tweet Woj put out?
And they say Woj do this.
Did you see the tweet Woj put out though?
Oh, where he said, yeah.
He messed the whole thing up.
Yeah.
Somebody was like, yeah, man, Woj is really feeling the pressure from Shams.
So the Pacers trade
Domantas
Sabonis, Lamb, and Holiday to the Kings but Pacers get back Halliburton, healed. I mean, Tristan Thompson, whatever, but I don't know why you're trading Halliburton right now. Why are you putting up on him?
It's very simple. They're the Kings.
Like, what are you doing?
Kings are the Kings.
Sabonis is a really good NBA player. But after that, you get a bunch. You gave up Halliburton and Buddy Buckets.
Sabonis looks like a young Pau Gasol, and I don't mean like the way he plays. He physically looks like a young Pau Gasol.
That was a little confusing to me. Why the Kings would do that? I didn't understand. Halliburton was the guy the Sixers had on their list of guys maybe they would consider bringing here, and you got to see him last week a little bit. He could play. He could play basketball.
Unless they thought that him and Fox were too similar to each other, but if that's the case, they screwed up and kept the wrong one.
Yeah, and then the Blazers turn around and say, "Hold my beer." CJ McCollum to the Pelicans with Larry Nance Jr. and Tony Snell, and the Pelicans send back Josh Hart, Satoransky, Alexander Walker, and Didi Lozada in draft compensation.
Now,
Now, here's the deal.
Didn't they also trade Norman Powell?
I don't.
They did that in a separate deal.
He's in a different deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the deal.
Portland's stripping it down right now.
They are. They're claiming that they're trying to reshuffle things around Damian Lillard. I gotta see that works out for you. Because I mean, if I'm Damian Lillard, I'm ready to get out of there. But he said he's still good.
His rap career would be much better in Philly than it would in Oregon.
Facts. Think about this though. The Pelicans next year have a nice little big three shaping up here. You got CJ, Brandon Ingram, and Zion. It's not bad.
I mean, it's definitely a big three if Zion's there.
Oh, I see what you did there. Leave Zion alone.
I mean, hey, listen. My man's over $3 bills right now. You can't deny that.
Yeah, he needs to mix in a couple salads.
He needs
some smoothies.
He needs somebody. It's like Chuck said. He needs somebody to be like,
"Yo, alone. You're fat and out of shape. Figure it out. That's why your feet hurt. Your feet are fat.
You shouldn't be
moving all that size around on that. It's not healthy.
Like, you shouldn't have foot problems at age 21.
No, you really shouldn't. And that's really what it is. He's so explosive. He can't carry that much weight in that explosive frame. And it's a shame because he's athletically superior than most. And he had a really good rookie year, played really well when he was healthy, put up monstrous numbers, was terrifying at times.
Even as a rookie, he could have lost weight.
Yeah,
he's been overweight since even when he was at Duke, he was overweight.
Yeah,
at Duke,
not as bad as it is now, but yeah, I agree.
He needs to, and I don't mean this as an exaggeration, he needs to lose 40 to 50 pounds.
Yeah, I would like to see him at 260. I think a 260 Zion is a good Zion.
Yeah, I'd say 250 to 260, somewhere in that range.
He needs to be somewhere in there. But it'll be interesting. I mean, I don't know what Portland's plans are.
He's even good in New Orleans.
Damian Lillard's in his early 30s.
31.
How much longer do you have for a rebuild? We're not talking about, like, listen, he has a good probably 4 years of prime basketball left, but you're talking about a reconstruction, and you're nowhere near done the process of that. Like, you're just starting that now, and like, I don't know what they're. I mean, I guess we'll see what the Pelicans pick brings you. The picks you got from them, I don't know. But I thought that was an interesting move.
Unless he just really, really, really likes that Oregon weed, there's no reason for him to still be there.
Yeah, I don't think.
I think he's a West Coast guy at heart.
Yeah,
I do believe that. He's from Oakland, played at Weber State, which is in Salt Lake City area, Utah area.
Mm-hmm.
He's a West Coast guy.
Yeah,
at his core. So I don't necessarily think that he would want to. Not that he wouldn't. I shouldn't say not want to, because he would obviously look great for the Knicks. He would look awesome in one of those blue blood franchises. Could you imagine Dame Could you imagine him on the Knicks? Could you imagine him on? Well, the Bulls don't need him now. Could you imagine him on the Bulls? Could you imagine him on the Celtics? He would look great on any one of those teams.
Well, he's a different cat too.
Yes,
different cat. Like, he's not worried about teaming up to win a ring.
No. He should be. He should be worried about that because he's trying to do it the Giannis way.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is that the front office for the Bucks backed him up and said, "All right, you're not going to leave. We're going to help you build this around you."
Yeah. The
front office of the Trailblazers is not doing that for Dame.
Tell you what, and I'm interested to see what happens with the Lakers in the next 2 days. because they're a mess right now. I mean, they get blown out again last night. They weren't even competitive for that game. They were down 20 in like the first half.
Talk about a non-competitive game. You see that Nets Celtics game?
Oh my, that game, there was a lot of blow. I almost had, and this is why I'm mad at Sixers too, because I took them at -1. But every other game, I never had this before. I'm waiting for this moment where a non-sweat parlay, where you're just coasting. The rest of my 5 teams won by an average of like 17 points. I had the Nets, I had the Hawks, I had the Mavericks, I had the Pelicans, and then I had the Bucks, and then I lost. The Sixers lost me.
Yeah, I had a nice plus 950 parlay. I did not have Sixers to win. I had a bunch of various props within the game.
Yeah.
On top of also, I had Celtics money line.
Yeah, that was a nice one. I mean, they didn't wait. They were up
28-2.
28-2.
I think they had a 30-point lead at halftime.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like that's just stuff. Like, I mean, and listen, I know.
You said it. You said they don't have Kyrie, they don't have Durant, they don't have Harden. You correct. I don't know if you expected a 30-point loss.
No,
but you called it. Like you said, the Celtics are going to have their way with them.
But I also want to say on the other side, I don't want to just give, because the Celtics are white hot right now. I don't know if anyone's paying attention. The Celtics are playing really good basketball. We talked about them, Jason Tatum a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
They have committed to playing defense now.
Yep.
They're all on the same page. They're all playing defense, and they've won, I think, 6 in a row.
Let me pull the standings up right now for you.
They're making moves. I think it's 6 in a row. I think
it is. Got you right here. You are correct. So is the Raptors.
And they're right now sitting at 7 right now. So they're moving up. They're moving up. They're moving on up.
The win yesterday pushes the Bucks into the 2nd seed.
Yep.
Bulls are now 3. Cavs have fallen to 4. Sixers still sitting 5. Raptors 6. Celtics 7. The Nets have fallen all the way to 8 after losing 9 in a row. However, I do not foresee the Hornets jumping them for the 8th seed, but you could potentially have. I still also don't think the Nets are going to be in the play-in tournament. I think that when Durant comes back,
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know? I
don't. I mean, I don't, because okay. So right now they're at 29 wins, and the Celtics again are trending upwards. The Raptors are pretty consistent. I don't see the Sixers free falling, and I don't. And here's the big problem: is the Cavaliers.
Yes,
they're messing up everything for everybody.
They're
not supposed to be here right now.
No, they're not. They're screwing the whole operation up.
I mean, you got Evan Mobley, like I said, is gonna be Rookie of the Year. Darius Garland, they're playing really good basketball, and I don't think they're going anywhere at all. They're not going anywhere at all. So, and then the Bulls, I don't see them free falling. They're gonna get guys healthy. Right now, they're missing Levine, Ball. Kobe White came back Monday, but Caruso's still out, so they're missing guys. The Bucks they're fine. They're 8-2 in their last 10, so they're getting hot at the right time. And the Heat aren't going anywhere. So who are the Nets leapfrogging? I think they're going to be in a play-in tournament. I mean, listen, they've now lost 8 games in a row.
9
in a row. Sorry, 9 in a row. They've lost 9 games in a row. Like, when you get that in that mind space,
imagine what the owner of the Nets is thinking right now.
Sean Marks?
No, the owner. The owner.
How did I get in this situation?
Yeah.
How did this happen?
I got Kevin Durant, who is having a Twitter beef right now with Stephen A. Smith.
Mm-hmm.
I've got
over his legacy.
Yes, I've got part-time Planet Kyrie.
By the way, I think Stephen A. is right in that assessment. People are going to be like, at the end of the day, he is now setting himself to be remembered as the guy who left Steph Curry to play with Kyrie Irving. How could you argue with that?
I mean, that won't define him. He's too good. Like, he is arguably the most efficient scorer in the history.
What are the 2 biggest Kevin Durant storylines?
He fights
Oklahoma City to go play with Golden State and front run, and leaving Golden State to go play with Brooklyn. Those are his two biggest storylines. It shouldn't be that way, but that's how it is. And you left a really good situation to go to a really poor situation. You trusted Kyrie over Steph.
If realistically, if Durant never left, the Warriors would probably still be winning titles.
Yep.
They probably would have won what, 3-4 in a row now.
And he even said it himself. So, like, he always looked at Golden State as Steph's team, and he was tired of the narrative that was Steph's team. He wanted to go create his own legacy, which I understand that. I get it.
Yeah, but it is Steph's team, so he wasn't wrong.
But here's the thing that's crazy about that is you had that in Oklahoma City. That was your city.
Yeah, but he wanted to be in a big market, and I get that. Like,
yeah, no, but Oklahoma City that was his city.
His squad. That was the team that's ready.
What you think about that's what Dame Lillard was doing. I mean, Portland is similar market.
But the thing also, Durant wanted to get away from Westbrook.
Yeah, which I understand. I get that.
Yeah,
but the thing is, if you think about it, if Westbrook, if Durant went in the front office and said, "Yo, it's him or me," Westbrook would have been out of there yesterday.
Fact.
So he could have done that and then just had pieces come to him because he wouldn't want to play with Kevin Durant.
But
you guys were up 3-1 in that series against the Warriors in 16, and you blew it.
I mean, yeah, who would not want to play with Durant? That's a fact. But who would want to go play in OKC?
Paul George did. He went there. He wouldn't try to team with Westbrook. I think Durant could have recruited there. Listen, you only have to. The thing is, nowadays, you don't just live in that city for the entire year if you don't want to.
No, everybody lives in LA.
Has a place out in LA. Ben Simmons lives in LA. There's plenty of guys that go. There's plenty of guys that live in different cities. They're not their own. JD Redick commuting from Brooklyn. Like, guys don't just necessarily just live in Philly because they play in Philly. So he could have definitely had guys.
I think Embiid's probably the only one that does that for the Sixers.
Yeah.
Like, Embiid lives year-round, full-time.
Yeah, he's all down to Jersey Shore last summer.
Yeah.
Like a regular Philadelphian.
Yeah, no, he's
and also, too, Oklahoma City, when they're good, is one of the best atmospheres in the NBA.
And I like their blue uniforms.
Oh, that's another thing I wanted to bring up. What's going on down at the Wells Fargo Center? I don't like at all. Like, I feel like we are starting to take the Sixers for granted and them being good for granted.
Well, what happened?
I'm not. One more time.
What I missed? What happened?
I'm not a fan of what the atmosphere is going on down there. We got too many people sitting on our hands. That building is quiet. The first 3.5 quarters, the building was quiet. It was quiet, and I was down there for the Clippers game, and I'm not in love with the atmosphere right now. I think we're starting to take how good this team has been over the past 5 years for granted, and I don't like that. I don't like that because we need to remember where we come from and what we had to do to get to a place where we're a respectable basketball team and a good basketball team. And Wells Fargo Center, it used to be one of the best atmospheres in the NBA. Mm-hmm. Right now, we're on that on reputation. Because I'm telling you right now, this year, it's been dog quiet down there. It was quiet. I'm not hearing any defense chants. I'm not hearing those reactions. I'm not feeling it right now. And I don't know, like, I don't want us to be one of those cities that's now sitting around and waiting for the playoffs to get excited. Like, you got the best team in the NBA in your building. Let's get excited now. Didn't have the Kings in here. This was the Thunder. This was the Suns. It was a weird atmosphere last night. And I've noticed this entire year that I don't feel like the crowd's into it like they've been in years past. And I don't like that. I don't like it. I'm not here for it.
I'm trying to. Friend of the show, Devin Caney, put out a tweet saying something about some quotes from Daryl Morey. I'm trying to lock down exactly what she's talking about.
Did she post the quotes or just?
She just posted commenting on it 8 minutes ago.
Okay.
Something about Daryl Morey saying something about a deal.
What?
Yeah, I'm trying to lock it down.
Yeah, we need to get on that right now. But yeah, I'm
because all of a sudden
I'm not a fan. I'm not in on that.
Right now, James Harden is the #1 trending thing on Twitter.
Yeah, so John Clark, actually, as you say that, this is according to Wendy again. Sixers Nets are talking about a Ben Simmons for James Harden trade, and it is trending towards a deal happening, according to Wendy.
Oh, here it is.
Me?
This is from Brian Windhorst. I suspect they're going to get a deal done. I can tell you that I can't tell you that it's definitely going to happen, but it's trending that direction. The Nets and the Sixers are definitely in the deal zone.
Makes me a little nervous based on who they're going to end up giving up for this. The idea that the Nets sat him out intentionally last night tells you that something's brewing. Something's happening. But so that was a huge sign right there that this is probably what's getting done. So let's get into this conversation. There's a good time for the good conversation since it looks like things are heating up. There's been some chatter over the past couple of days about Embiid and Harden on the floor playing together. And some people believing that they don't believe it's a match like others do. Like for me personally, I think it's a great match eventually. Not right now, because again, they're going to have to figure this out. And again, I caution people if this deal does get done, which is trending in the right direction, don't just think the Sixers are going to the championship this year. They're probably not. This is going to take an offseason to figure out these guys. And also to remember, even though James Harden is averaging 22, 10, and 8, this is a man that is probably a good 10 to 15 pounds overweight, and he has hamstring issues. So you're going to need to get his body.
The question is, does he have hamstring issues? Do we buy the conspiracy theories? Does he have hammy issues?
I mean, I guess it's. I mean, listen, I'm not. You're not wrong for questioning the validity of the hamstring issues because
look at the fat suit.
We saw him eat his way out of Houston. we saw that James Hardy's, and now
is there a bad hammy? Like we don't know.
I don't know. Listen, if it's not a bad hammy and he comes here out putting up 40, 15, and 10, okay. I'm not mad about it. And then Wiles afterwards, I'm not mad.
If now the thing is, I see him more as a cheerleaders guy.
Well, listen, I haven't been down to these establishments in a while, but Delilah's had the better selection. Delilah's top tier.
Yes, I agree.
He has to be a Delilah's guy because he's a Magic City guy. Delilah's our Magic City.
Yes, Delilah's is probably the top one in the city.
Yes.
Which is actually, for a market this size, kind of sad.
Yeah. We don't have that type of nightlife around here, really. That's okay.
Like, I have been to many of those establishments in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Delilah's wouldn't even crack the top 5 there.
No. I mean, for me around here, if I'm going to Delilah's, it's because we just want to continue the night. There's nowhere else to go.
Yes.
So you go there at 3 a.m. because it's still open.
Still open.
I'm not going there. Like I don't care.
No. I mean,
but it's like imagine. But I want to go to Magic City for the experience. I need to be in Magic City with Rick Ross and Bow Wow, and see what that's about.
I also need lemon pepper.
I need lemon pepper wings in Magic City, sitting between Bow Wow and Rick Ross.
Yes.
I want that energy.
Or you got to go to Tootsie's.
Yeah, get some shoulder rubs.
Mm-hmm.
Like Drizzy.
Yes.
Speaking of
big strip club talk here, real quick.
Yeah, big strip talk. No, let's stay focused.
Well, part of it, I think, part of the reason why. Let's go with the assumption that James Harden actually does have hamstring issues.
Okay.
Let's go with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know why?
The weight.
He's not hydrated enough. He's not hydrated enough. He's out all night just drinking at the strip clubs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that as a joke. I'm being serious.
Oh, I understand what you're saying.
He's not. He doesn't put the care into his nutrition, and that's why you see the soft tissue injuries that he gets. Because I honestly don't think he's hydrated enough.
You get to a certain point in your life,
like because
where,
you drink alcohol. Alcohol is going to dehydrate you.
right? And you just can't do this. Like that's why it's good to have. I'm trying to teach my kids this because I didn't do this. To have good eating habits and good nutrition habits and good workout habits when you're young. So when you get older, it's just you already in that routine.
Second nature.
So because he's a guy, he reminds me of like me, where like I was always in really good shape. I played sports, played basketball, but I would go play basketball 6 hours, then go to Wendy's and get a triple bacon air meal.
Yep.
But I could do that when I play basketball. I'm 41 years old now. I don't play sports like that anymore. So like I can't justify having a triple bacon air at 10 p.m., but I'm still gonna do it. It's still gonna happen.
Not going to change anything.
It's not gonna change. I'm trying to, but it's hard now to change. Like, listen, bad habits, good habits, they don't die. Like I started biting my fingernails when I was 5. I still bite my fingernails at 41.
Can
you
I?
A bad habit. It's a bad habit forever.
Can I make a confession? I got to make a confession.
Yeah.
Okay. So usually I'll try to go to the gym before the show because by the time the show's done, you know, I need like a good hour or two to decompress from sitting here doing everything for the show before I can actually get into something else.
Right.
I'm sure it's similar for you as well. You need time to just decompress before you get into something else.
Absolutely.
So I try to go beforehand. About a week or so ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, I decided to go to the gym at like 8 p.m. at night. Which is whatever. I had the energy. I went.
Okay.
I put a dent in Taco Bell on the way home.
Just got after it.
I was driving home and I was like I leave the gym. I'm like, all right, I'm a little hungry. I'll go home. I'll make a protein shake, eat a little snack, and I'll be good to go. I'm driving by Taco Bell. There's only one person in the drive-thru. I'm like,
Those nighttime munchies are not a game.
What's that?
Those nighttime munchies are not a game.
No,
they're not to be played with.
No.
That was the most exciting thing when I got my driver's license. The most exciting part of it was I can go to Burger King at 11 o'clock at night if I want to.
Yep.
I don't need because that was never a thing before you were driving. If you were hungry, you better go see what's in the fridge or the pantry. Now I got Wendy's and Burger King and McDonald's options. This is great. I put on 15 pounds the first 6 months I had my driver's license. I was like, oh, slow down, big feller. This is too much. But yeah, so Harden and Embiid on the courts together. The offense has to change a lot. So that's a reason why, because right now the Sixers are very dribble handoff heavy. They are a dribble handoff offense.
And it killed them yesterday. They jump shot the game yesterday into a loss.
They fell in love with the jump shot.
Yeah. They jump shot their way into a loss yesterday.
They are a dribble handoff heavy basketball team. That's going to change with Harden. That's not going to work.
Has to change.
It's going to change because Harden, that's not how he plays. And you're going to have to build the offense around him and Joe. Now, the nice thing about Joe now is Joe's not a volume shooter.
No.
Joe can get buckets. Joe's more in, and I'm not saying they're the same player, so don't get crazy, guys, but he's in the Kevin Durant tier where he doesn't need a ton of shots to get his numbers.
Very efficient.
If you get him 15 to 18 shots, he'll be fine. He'll be good. So, I'm not worried about the idea of Harden monopolizing the ball because Embiid doesn't need those type of touches. He needs his touches, but he doesn't need where I have to touch the ball, 35 times to put up 25 shots to get my numbers.
And it's going to help the team dramatically that someone else in the last 5 minutes of the game can get the ball.
Yeah.
They were doubling and triple teaming him in the paint last night.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, it's not an issue. He's just so physically dominant that he'll just run right through him. But after playing 30 some odd minutes down the stretch of the fourth quarter, when they were doubling him with Ayton and I forget who, I think there was Ayton and Bridges they were doubling him with. And then sometimes they would bring Chris Paul over on a triple team.
Yep.
Well, after 35, 40 minutes of that, I don't care who you are, you're going to be a little tired.
Facts. One thing they're going to have to do, well, I'll rephrase that. One thing I suggest them doing, if they do get Harden in here, you may have to go back to Danny Green as starting lineup. And the reason why I say that is because you're going to have to – Danny Green's a perfect guy to play with the Harden guy because all Danny Green wants to do is go stand in the corner.
Yes.
That's all he wants to do. And Harden likes that to kick out to the corners. That's what made P.J. Tucker famous. Got Eric Gordon a nice fat contract. Having the ability to knock down those open jump shots. Matisse Thybulle, that's not his strong suit right now. So, you want guys to respect that. So I'm going to assume Seth Curry's part of this deal. So that makes Green.
Let's make the assumption that it's Simmons, Curry, and a draft pick. Let's go off of that premise.
Yeah. That's what I'm hoping. Either Simmons, Curry, or Simmons, Green. I can't imagine they're going to want Danny Green. So I think it's probably Simmons, Curry.
Can we swap Steve Nash and Doc Rivers?
I don't want Steve Nash.
I don't want Doc Rivers.
What's that?
I don't want Doc Rivers.
I don't think I want him either, but I definitely don't want Steve Nash. He looks like a lost, sad man on that bench, which, like I said, I take such pleasure in watching him on the bench lose by 30 because he should have never had that job. He should have never had that job. There's no reason for him to be there at all. But anyway, Danny Green is a guy I think you're going to have to think about restarting in the lineup just because he'll know how to play with a guy like Harden. Right. He's played with LeBron before. He's played with guys like that where, my role is to go stand in this corner and knock down jump shots. And then bring Matisse off the bench because obviously not going to bench Harris. And there's, Maxey, is going to be the other guard, you think, with Harden because I don't see them putting Maxey back on the bench. And then it would be janky. You can't go Green, Thybulle, Harris as your other guys. It doesn't make sense.
No.
So you're looking at a starting lineup of Harden, Maxey, Harris, I think Green, and Embiid. If they don't start Green, that's okay. They'll figure it out with Thybulle. Thybulle needs to get shots up anyway, get better at that. It was really encouraging to see him last night knock down those 2 threes. Mm-hmm. That felt good watching that in the first quarter. I want to see him take more to get those numbers up to start bringing that average up and hopefully getting better at that. But we'll see. But the offense right now is going to have to change a lot. It's going to have to be pretty much overhauled. So that'll be interesting to see how they do that. That's why I mean about making this deal, why I don't want to give up too much because you're asking – because James Harden is a very specific type of basketball player. He's a guy that has a very specific style, and he has to play that style to be effective. The style of Sixers play right now, he will not be effective playing that. Like if this was – obviously – I'm throwing it. Steph Curry. Steph Curry could play in the current constructed style of Sixers play right now. He could play like that. He could do the dribble handoffs. He could play the dribble handoff game with Embiid. That would be no problem for him. James Harden, no. James Harden needs to monopolize the basketball. He has to dominate the ball. That's how he plays basketball. That's how it'll work. So if he does come here, I'll be interested to see. Now, you got to think about it too that if we're hearing this now about this deal being pretty much imminent, they've probably known about this for weeks. That this is, we're getting this man.
Yes.
So you would think that Doc is meeting with his staff, trying to think of ways to integrate Harden, like right now as we speak. Like this is an off day. Just don't play again on Friday. They play the Thunder on Friday, which if Harden gets moved today, he may play Friday. If it's tomorrow, probably not. Well, I don't know. Maybe. Well, I don't know. But anyway, they're playing Friday. So you would think they've already been working on game plans and thinking of ways to kind of integrate him in. And I like also, too, I love Maxey because I think Tyrese Maxey is a shooting guard. I don't think he's a point guard. It's kind of like the dilemma you had with Allen Iverson when he came out, where they were trying to make AI a point guard, and it's just not going to work because he's much more effective as a 2 guard. Like AI could have been a point guard, but it makes more sense with him as a 2 than a 1. Even though he's smaller, AI wants to jack up shots. I think Maxey will be more comfortable with the 2 because I think his role is more defined. I think Sam Cassell said this, who's done a great job with Tyrese Maxey, by the way. But he said this. He said, you got one of the toughest jobs in the league because you got to make sure Embiid eats, got to make sure Harris eats, got to make sure Curry eats, and you got to eat too. So you got a lot of pressure on you to make sure all these other guys are getting theirs, and you got to somehow figure out how to get yours. And I think sometimes with Maxey, he gets lost in trying to do all that and make all those things happen. So I would like to give those responsibilities to Harden and let Maxey do his thing, when he needs to do his thing. So, yeah, I mean, I'm cautiously excited. And we're winding down now. We're gonna see what happens here. Hopefully, if they do the deal, they don't have to give up too much. Like I don't want to see. I don't know about you. I don't want to see Maxey and Thibault in this deal. I don't want to do that.
I really don't want to give up Thibault and Simmons because there you lose all your perimeter defenders.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't want to give up Maxey because I feel like he's graduated out of the sweetener of a deal position.
Yeah.
And is now, moving up the ranks.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't want to give them both up.
And you saw last night, listen, Booker had 35
Yes.
on 11-23 shooting. However, you saw times when Booker probably would have scored and Thibault was able to either make it more difficult, force him to a bad shot, or just outright just block the shot or force up something more difficult. So and I was saying that on Sunday, how DeMar DeRozan went off and how important it is to have a guy like Thibault who make guys like that have them be more difficult to score. Booker had to work more. You got to want to make these guys work. And I worry about that also. If you get rid of Thibault, you got to have someone that could guard a Durant, that could guard a Curry. You need those guys. They could guard a Booker. You need those guys. You got to have those guys. And you can't so you give the Nets Simmons and Thibault? I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's really just you're depleting the rest of your roster too much.
I agree.
It's not
because again, on the back end of Embiid's prime, you're gonna need guys like Maxey and Thibault.
Mm-hmm.
They're important on the back end of Embiid's prime.
Yep.
I don't want to get rid of them now because now we're getting into the range of mortgaging our future.
Yep.
Simmons doesn't mortgage your future, neither does Curry or Green, because you can survive without them. You're right now not even looking at Simmons as a part of your future anyway. So you can survive without that being your future. But your future is Maxey, it's Thibault, hopefully Joe, fingers crossed on him. Not a great year this year, but I haven't lost hope. That's hopefully your future. I can't see those guys go for this. I hope not, at least, but we'll see. But listen, it's going to be exciting. 24 hours. The deadline, again, is over at 3 p.m. yet tomorrow. I would imagine if this gets done, though, since it's white hot right now, I would imagine it gets done today. We should hear something today. If we don't hear anything today, I would start to get a little worried that this is not going to get done.
I think the longer that it goes, the less likely it is to get done.
I agree. But we'll see. And if not, listen, like I said yesterday, like I said earlier today, if they don't get this done, I need them to do something. You got to do something small. I'm okay with a small move to get you to into the playoffs, something to help your bench out. Like I said, that backup point guard is very, very important. So we'll see how it all shakes out. But I got nothing left. So at Marques everywhere.
No. Hold on.
What's
Hold on. I got to defend my title. It's Wednesday.
Oh, right. It is Wednesday.
Trying to weasel out just because I won.
Yeah, I forgot. I forgot all about that. It was listen. We had big basketball talk today, so I wasn't in that place. But yes, you were right.
I'm 4 out of 5 so far in the new year, 2 in a row. You're not gonna take this moment away from me, except if you give me really hard ones and I lose. Then I'm gonna pretend like this didn't happen.
I need to get prepared here. Let me see. Yes. You know what time it is.
Oh, do you know what time it is?
Now I do. Justin doesn't know hockey. Doesn't know acting. Doesn't know movies.
Nope. Also, just came out that it looks like May is going to be second part of Ozark.
Love that for my life. Looks
like it's going to be in May.
I'm excited.
Right, looks like it should be right around Memorial Day weekend.
I'm in. I love that for the beginning of my summer.
Mm-hmm.
It is that time though. Time for hockey or no?
Yes.
All right. Joe Thornton. Hockey or no?
No.
He is hockey.
He is.
Yes, he is.
Thorin kind of sounded like a hockey name.
Sam Reinhart, hockey or no?
He plays hockey?
He does play hockey.
Yeah.
Ryan Lumberg, hockey or no?
Ryan Lumberg. I believe he plays hockey.
He does play hockey. Mason Markman, hockey or no?
Mason. That's a hockey name.
Mason is a hockey name. He is hockey. Let's go with Michael Caine, hockey or no?
Michael Caine, not to be mistaken with noted scumbag from the NHL, Evander Kane. I'm going to say no. He does not play hockey.
He does not play hockey.
Oh, okay.
Look at you making a little comeback.
3-1 right now. Let's go.
Harvey Keitel, hockey or no?
I don't. No, he doesn't.
He does not play hockey.
Oh,
All right, so what are you at right now?
4-1. Got the dub, but let's.
It's 2, right?
What's that?
It's 2.
Oh, then it's 4-2.
Okay, so this is the last one.
That was It's either 4-1 or 4-2.
4.
I got one, and then I got 3 in a row.
You got another win.
Yep. Let's see how this goes.
All right, last one. Let's go with. Trying to get a good name here. Jonas Johansson, hockey or no?
Jonas Johansson. Does he play hockey? I think he does.
He does play hockey. Very good.
Ooh.
Look at you.
5-2. 5-2.
5-2.
5 out of 6 on the year, including 3 in a row.
Look at you. White hot.
Is that
He's out here.
that's got to be the longest streak, right?
Definitely by far.
Like this has to be my best stretch of time.
This is a nice stretch for you. You might make the playoffs this year.
We're trying.
All right, I'm Marques everywhere.
Well, real quick, the NHL had their All-Star game in Vegas?
Yeah, I saw a little bit of that over the weekend.
Did you see the skills challenge? What they had to do this year for the skills challenge?
I had it on the background, but I wasn't paying attention.
So you know how they normally, I think it's plates they have to break or something. With
Yeah.
This year they had, because it was in Vegas, they had all different cards lined up, like playing cards, and the players had to get 21 for blackjack.
Oh, that's cool.
They had to hit ace, whatever it is to get.
It's not a bad idea.
It was the first player that could get to 21 would win.
That's cool. Not a bad idea.
No, love me some Vegas. Also because it's 75 degrees there this week.
It is.
It is. All right, let's get out of here.
At Marques Between everywhere.
At Justin and Michelle on the Bluebird app.
Brad and Mary Pod. BradandMaryShow.com for the merch. 10% off the code Bremy. Beef Jerky Outlet Langhorne.
Use promo code Bremy10 for 10% off your first in-app order at District Taco.
And until next time, you can be with us, you can be against us, but you're never going to stop us. Late.